Welcome to Stick at Night. I'm your freeholder, Anthony L. Romano, representing the great cities of Hoboken and Jersey City, and we're open to all the wonderful residents of our county. Tonight's kind of exciting for me. Two good friends are with me. One fellow brother police officer, a heroic police officer, retired Detective Frank Molina. And Frank, welcome, and thank you for your service all those years. And someone who has brought the great organization of P.A.C.O to another level, and that's their executive director, Mr. Juan Garcia. Julio Garcia. I'm calling you Juan Julio. So Julio, welcome too also for all the wonderful things that you do.
Thank you.
Okay, let's start off. July 1st, there is going to be the announcement that the applications are available for the entry level for municipal police officer, sheriff's officer,
yes,
and corrections.
Corrections. Yeah.
And those applications will be, as we said, came out July 1st, and will be August 31st. And Frank, you have developed a course, a law enforcement entry level preparation course, and you're working with Julio on it. Okay, tell me guys, what's going on?
So I've been teaching it for over a decade. It's free for everyone. There's no cost to the student. And what we do is we created a 3-day curriculum to prepare you for the civil service test. The design behind it was made so that anyone can take 1 day, 2 days, 3 days and digest the test. And basically it's leveling the playing ground. My belief is that if you want to be an officer, if you want to be a cop, and you have that desire to do something good, then you should not be limited by finances. You shouldn't be held back because you don't know where to go as an outlet to help you prepare for this test. And the fact that, especially with inner city, you've seen it in parts of Hoboken, especially Jersey City, parts of Union City, where most people don't have, for a paid course of $700 plus.
Is that what it is now, the entry level?
That's the price.
It's up to $700.
$700.
I know the promotionals are like in a stratosphere,
yeah.
over $2,000.
And it's almost unfair. And a good cop then becomes segregated, potentially, because they can't afford it.
Well, it's very competitive, the exam, because you also have the veterans taking the test,
yes,
that automatically go to the top. So it is very competitive, as you said, and the positions aren't there for as many as applicants.
Right.
Especially now, as in Jersey City, Hoboken, the department's becoming very young, so now it's,
Yeah, and then the competition is very high. You need to be in that top 10%. So this is my way of giving back. I was a product of this back in 1993. And I saw what it was, and I saw the potential of what it could be. And I saw also how some of my friends were held back because, not because they weren't inept, but they just didn't have the guidance to take the test and score high enough because they couldn't compete.
Frank, where's the testing facility going to be?
It's tentatively scheduled for Ferris High School in Jersey City. It's the biggest capacity that we can find so far.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Is it bigger? Dickinson isn't bigger?
Dickinson's bigger, but the way they schedule, it's harder to schedule around their summer programs. Well, their school programs, I should say, because we will be hosting the classes in October. We want to get the word out now because July 1st is the announcement. So there's a 2-month window till the 31st for anyone to sign up to take the test.
Have you met with Dr. Walker, the acting superintendent? The reason I only say that is because Dickinson is such a central location and it has all that parking.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
And,
I mean, if you want to put that together,
we'd like to have a meeting with
yeah.
Dr. Walker.
Yeah.
Because Dickinson is really a great facility.
We did, in 2016, we did over 1,000 at Ferris.
Wow.
So that the numbers
That's amazing.
speak for themselves.
Now, who's your teaching staff?
It's me.
By yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do the instruction, the lesson plan, the curriculum. The support group comes from P.A.C.O, so they do all my all the logistic work behind the scenes. So with the website that was created, it's a one-stop shop. They sign up, The candidate signs up, you get your information, and then he sends out the email blast. For example, July 1st, he'll send out everyone that's already signed up, hey, here's a reminder, go fill out your application.
Wow, Julio, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Tell us
No,
how you got involved and
P.A.C.O is so excited about this
tell
opportunity.
people what P.A.C.O stands for.
P.A.C.O stands for Puerto Riqueños Asociados for Community Organization, or P.A.C.O Inc.
Deep history, starting with
deep-
Elio Rivera, going back 40-something years.
Very deep history, very well-rooted organization in the community.
Great housing on Marin.
Great housing. P.A.C.O, for its 49 years of operating services, has really taken it to the next level, and I think part of it has to do with programming such as this. P.A.C.O's mission is to ensure that the community obtain the desired success, whatever that may be, and what better way to do that by offering the community an opportunity to build a career in law enforcement. And this is just the first step in what many men and women will have to do to get that career, right? And it's helping them through that pathway. First will be the test, and then it'll be other layers. And P.A.C.O is committed to being a part of that, right? By helping them and their families in support systems. We offer quite a bit of support, services.
Do you do it for fire tests too?
No, not yet. And I say yet because
It's in the works.
we never close the door.
How about Chief Lauren Hart? Getting him involved to be the Frankie Molina of the fire thing. I think that's a great idea, if you don't mind me saying it.
We could explore anything. I mean, right now, and I speak on behalf of our chairman, Frank Molina Sr., who, of course, was one of the key people in developing this course. He is open to work with anyone.
And the reason I say that only is some people would rather not carry a gun and be a police officer.
Right,
Some
absolutely.
would love to be and I think you have to have an equal playing field in that area also.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
And, you know, and especially with the big fire department, Jersey City is the biggest one, I think, in outside of maybe Newark in the state,
Right.
as is the police department, as we say. But I'm excited about it. I know that you've asked me to come, and I'm honored to support it in any way that I can. And I think it's important. And Julio, the enthusiasm you show, because everything to succeed takes partnerships. And I could see by the dedication of both of you. Born and raised, for those in the audience, Detective Molina, born and raised in Jersey City, and Director Garcia, born and raised in Union City. So these are our own homegrown products of success themselves, okay, coming from very humble beginnings. And they're to be applauded for what they're doing. So I just want you to continue on what you were saying.
No, sure, and P.A.C.O, our mission is always to help support individuals, right? And we do so with offering our home energy assistance, our weatherization, our lead programming, anything that we could define that will help the community.
Great programs, too.
Absolutely, in partnerships with the county and the state. So this is just another step. And, you know, I'll go back to what we did in 2016 through this program. 1,200 men and women had an opportunity to be in law enforcement. And that's, you know, sometimes we don't pat ourselves in the back, but that's a major achievement that sometimes people, you know, need to know.
Oh, without a doubt. There's so many things we're going to discuss when we come back from the commercial break. And as you said, it is important to level that playing field. And we need corrections officers. We can't get people to pass the test in Hudson County. I'll be right back with these wonderful guests for Stick at Night.
We have to be able to police ourselves because we don't want anybody to tarnish our badge.
When internal affairs complaints are not handled properly, the public may believe that most officers commit crimes, when in fact that's not true. Most officers are professional.
If complaints aren't taken properly and the community that we serve doesn't have a trust in the police department, I mean, there has to be legitimacy. If the community doesn't trust the police, how could we effectively serve them? And by having a really comprehensive internal affairs unit that handles the complaints properly and people have trust in the system, it enables us to do our entire job as a police department much better.
We need the community as much as they need us. So that citizen that has lost trust in the community could be a very important witness for us tomorrow.
Hudson TMA reminds you that a helmet can only protect your head if you wear it. Take a tip from Elizabeth and Xander.
So just think of your helmet as part of your gear. You don't see a soccer player without shin guards. You don't see a basketball player without shoes. You don't ride your bike without your helmet. It's part of the gear.
Let's take a look at proper helmet fit. The size of a helmet is very important. It should fit comfortably without rocking from side to side. The helmet should fit level on your head and low on the forehead, no more than 1 or 2 finger widths above the eyebrow. Adjust the lengths of the straps so that the buckle is centered under the chin. Side straps should be adjusted so that they form a V shape under and slightly in front of the ears. Lock the slider if possible. Buckle the chin strap and tighten it until snug. No more than 1 or 2 fingers should fit under the strap. Lastly, make sure the helmet is secure and doesn't rock back and forth. If a big yawn doesn't pull the helmet down on your head, tighten the chin strap.
Welcome back to Stick at Night. Let's continue this interesting discussion, very important to me for many reasons. And we have with us again Detective Molina, Executive Director Garcia, and we just were joined by the wonderful persona of Anna Marie Ventura. Anna Marie, tell us about your attachment to this project.
Well, I represent the P.A.C.O CDC, which is a different organization, although we are closely united, let's say that, and also are staunch supporters of the law enforcement recruitment drive. And I know we went over Frank Molina Sr.'s true passion for this whole organization. Well, that, you know, rubs off on everyone on the P.A.C.O CDC side, and we are so proud of him, and we really want the best for Jersey City, and that's why we're...
Well, I want to make 2 comments, and then Frankie, you guys can comment off it. Hoboken and Jersey City have changed, obviously through gentrification, which is constantly ongoing. Jersey City, it used to be just downtown, the Heights. It's mushrooming out towards Liberty State Park. Gentrification is going on everywhere. Same thing that happened in Hoboken, different from the cities that we grew up in. 3 different cities, 3 different areas. I don't know where Anne Marie grew up in.
I don't want to say, it's Union County.
Okay. So the other comment I wanted to make is that the attitude towards law enforcement, it's important that we get people in here that are part of the community, not apart from the biggest dictum of community policing. So, and to have, say, people say, hey, you keep talking about cops and talking negative, why don't you try to become one and see what it's like?
Oh, yes.
And I think that's important, Frank, with your experiences. And I think showing that someone of the stature of you two that are involved elevates the respect that this course will have. It's very organized. It's very impressive with your flyers. It's professionally done, and that's a tribute, as you said, to Julio. So go ahead, continue, Frankie. What you were saying.
One of the mottos we go with is the challenge, and that's just it. It doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on. Doesn't matter what political aspirations or dissensions you have. That if you believe in law enforcement, then I challenge you to come and take up the torch and continue on the good fight. If you think that law enforcement is broken or corrupt or whatever, then I challenge you to come fill our shoes and see what it is firsthand. If not, then don't say anything, you know. But the challenge is there, you know, and the opportunities here, because we've created this program with all this help because we believe in something that's bigger than all of us. And the idea of good versus bad, we're all in the same boat together. And the biggest thing is that when you get a student that wants it, even if it's free, they're going to show up all 3 days, and they're going to put their best foot forward. Because they want to be best. They want to be the best that they can be.
The other important thing is this is the most culturally diverse county, and Jersey City is probably the most culturally diverse city in the United States.
In the nation.
This whole county is definitely the most. I mean, there's so much diversity. Union City, Hoboken, Jersey City. Again, Bayonne is starting to gentrify. Well, they've always been, to me, like a suburb, North Bergen and Bayonne.
And that's the beauty of P.A.C.O, right? P.A.C.O, the C in P.A.C.O is for community, right? And that's something that we echo, we represent, we strive for, and I think this program helps in that. And I mean, our relationship with law enforcement is deep-rooted and it goes way back. And we start from youth. We have a summer youth program that we are offering, and we engage law enforcement to participate with our students so they could have that interaction. Then we go into this recruitment initiative where, again, we're bringing law enforcement. We celebrate National Night Out, always partnering and engaging the community and being part of that solution. So we're very confident and very hopeful that, again, this will be a successful
Where is
program for us.
this all people, for example, we're going to tell on the, before we finish the show, we're going to have you say again when, where, and how to find out, but is it being passed around in the different aspects of the community?
Yes.
Is it only open to Jersey City residents right now?
We're working with Jersey City now. We actually just recently had a meeting with them, so they're going to put out flyers with the website on it, and I'm sure you're going to get it later on, but it's www.pacoagency.org. That's the one-stop shop. You go there, it's going to walk you through what you need to do, where you need to sign up, and how the process works. It's very simplified.
Well, now here's a question I have for you. This also includes sheriff's offices
Yes.
and corrections, as we
Yes.
said.
Yes.
So in that case, which that list is open to countywide residents.
Of course.
Right.
It's a
Are
civil
they-
service
right,
test
but
is
so-
statewide.
But still,
so
it can only be Jersey City residents taking the course at this
we
time.
welcome everyone.
Oh,
Yes.
so everyone is
Doesn't matter,
open.
black,
Okay.
white, indifferent.
No, but I meant
you
as
know,
far as address.
As far as,
So
yes.
if someone wants to become a corrections officer, lives in Hoboken, they can come to your course.
Anyone who is interested
Yes.
in a career could go to our
Well, I
website
think
and
that's
sign up.
awesome. Well, I have it hanging in my office, as I said, the
Yes.
minute I heard. And I think the idea that you ladies and gentlemen are the spokespersons, and you're the drive behind it. You couldn't get three finer people to do this. Anne-Marie, so tell us, are you going to be teaching or what here?
I'm more administrative and organizing the money, let's say that. But I'll be there. I just, you know...
Right, so it's a
like I
hands-on
said,
involvement. That's the
we have
question I'm getting
passion
to.
for it. And
Right.
P.A.C.O CDC has done other programs to promote this relationship with the community and also, you know, the children. We had a drive last year, and we had a bicycle drive. We gave away like 12 to 15 bicycles, and we had the children talk about the relationship with the police. And what we got really gave us an insight into how children feel about the police. There are some that were a little bit, you know, hesitant, you can see from the letters, or you can see that they really look up to them and they want to be, you know, be the role model.
A lot of people don't realize the poorest are the ones who want the protection the most. People don't realize that. When you work in a housing authority area, you can understand and see that, contrary to what a lot of people don't understand until you've been involved or been a police officer in a city. I think you don't get a full understanding.
That's very interesting because I also, you know, manage the housing for P.A.C.O. I'm the managing agent for the villa in Jersey
Villa
City.
Borinquen.
Villa Borinquen, yes. And
You know,
what
I'm an
you're
honorary
saying-
Boricua, so...
what you're saying is exactly true. They do. And that's why it hurts so much when you see so many people talking bad about the police.
And a lot. Listen, I always say there's bad apples in every barrel. You remove the bad apple, you don't destroy the barrel.
Right.
That's the best analogy I can make. I mean, there's bad teachers, there's bad doctors. You don't hear it because doctors usually, you know, form the wagons around themselves. But we're out there and people see when there's a bad police officer, the whole department gets tainted, and that's the shame of it. And you know, everybody loves the fire department, but and they should. You know, not everyone wants to run into a burning building. And I think that it's important what you're doing here to get everyone in the community involved. And we'll use that word again for how many times we said it already, but to level the playing field, because we want those that can't afford it to understand how you have to think in a civil service world, not in the world that you're in. That's a key that a lot of people don't understand.
Yes.
Yeah, I always yell at my students, think as you were in a civil service world. We'll be right back with these three wonderful guests and something that's important to everyone out there. Be right back from this commercial for Stick at Night. Thank you.
Hudson TMA reminds you that if you are going to ride your bike after dark, you must wear the proper attire.
Can you see me? about me? It's more difficult to ride at night, but if you have to, make sure you can be seen.
Check this out. I'm wearing white, but it's not enough because I'm still difficult to see.
No matter what time of day you ride, always wear bright clothing. But at night, you really need to wear reflective or retro-reflective gear. If you don't have any, buy some retro-reflective tape and put it on your shoes, your jacket, and your helmet. It helps reflect light back to the driver of a car.
Make sure your bike has reflectors.
And you need a headlight and a tail light. That's the best way to get noticed in the dark. And it's the law.
Remember, the sooner a driver can see you and recognize you, the sooner they can react.
Hudson TMA reminds you that a bicycle is considered a vehicle. When you ride a bike, you must obey the rules of the road.
Ride single file in the same direction as traffic. Obey traffic signs and signals. Signal your turns and look behind you before you turn. And always stay alert.
Welcome back to Stick at Night. I'm your freeholder, Anthony Romano, and we have with us three important people in the city of Jersey City, and I like to say proudly important to all of us in Hudson County for the work that all three do, dedicated, and I consider them friends, and this is a very important discussion that we're having today. So continue, Frank or Director, whichever one of you wants to chime in.
So one of the reasons why I took up this torch after my father experienced this and saw it firsthand, and I was a product of it.
Well, by the way, your father, just so those know, Frank Molina Sr. is also a retired Jersey City police officer.
Yes, and he had the insight to say, you know what, we can do this, and we can diversify and show that we can level that playing field, like you see. But one of the biggest things is that, especially for me internally, you know my story, probably for another segment, but because of that incident, I saw the potential that if I can put a good cop on the street as a result of this program, and that person, he or she, saves a life, then I did my job. Irrelevant of price or money or whatever it is, but the incentive there, if that good officer walks into P.A.C.O and helps fix something, then all of us did what we needed to do to get that to happen. And that's one of the missing components in society today, is that you know, this idea of gimme, 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 and there's no give, you know, and it's
Well
missing.
said.
And we're trying to bring it back. You know, if we can pay this forward and that's how it's done, then so be it, you know. And I can sleep at night knowing that I did the right thing for the right reason.
Well, the legacy is going to be those that attain the position.
Yes.
In the police departments or whatever departments, through your course, and there's your media.
Yes.
That's the future.
Yeah.
Right, and I think it was well said, you know, paying it forward. I mean, one of the things that we've experienced through the history of P.A.C.O is that many police officers that have gone through the P.A.C.O program are giving back to P.A.C.O and the community. Absolutely. Some serve on our board, some have served on our board. We see them on the road.
Yeah, Deputy Chief Edgar Martinez.
And, you know, so there have been so many contributions and giving back to the community, and that's what we want. We want to see that a young person who goes through our program right now, maybe 6 years from now, is sitting on our board, is a police officer serving in the community, and is still giving back. That's all we want. And I think that's a tremendous legacy
now, Mayor Fulop
to everyone.
supports the program.
Oh, yes.
Director Shea.
Yes.
Chief Kelly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? One of the things that I want to do is challenge you and your viewers is to get the word out. Help us get the word out. You know, it only takes someone to say, hey, you know what? There's an opportunity. It doesn't cost you anything. Give it a shot. That's all we're asking.
Well, you know, I tell everybody I'll be one of your apostles and disciples. Anne-Marie, want to add something to that too also?
I guess I just would add that it's a new career opportunity for a lot of people that maybe never thought anything was for them. And if they can come in and they can try it first, they can come into a class, it doesn't cost them anything, they might find something, find out about something about themselves that they never really knew before.
Very, very well put. Very insightful. Final thoughts,
No,
Frankie?
well, listen, July 1st is the opener. July 1st, the announcement comes out for the civil service statewide. If you're watching this right now, remember the date. go see the website. I can repeat it again.
Sure.
Right? www.pacoagency.org, and take the challenge on. Take the torch. Bring your friends. Make it fun. Whoever scores higher gets lunch bought for them. However that works.
Now, do you get access to the same material, say, that Bernstein does? How does that?
It's basically all the same across the board, because the civil service test is very standardized. And the company's called I.O. Solutions, not to give everything up, but I.O. Solutions is the creator of the test for the state. They design standardized testing for law enforcement nationwide. So what they did was they simplified it so that it isn't biased one way or the other. There's no discrepancies where you're segregating certain classes or anything. They kept it as simple as possible. But with that creates a very general format for taking the test.
And it makes it tougher.
And it also makes it tougher. Why? Because now you need to be in that top 10%. You need to score high to relate to getting your name on that list to getting called.
And if I could, because I got to give him a little bit more credit than that,
I know.
because it's how it's done. It's the approach. It's understanding how the youth learn. Right? He's got that. So I think the difference between what else is out there that's paid for is his style, his approach, his background. I mean, his experience, right? And you know what? He's part of the P.A.C.O team, so we're excited to have him.
And I think I've had the honor of teaching in both high school, the university, and at the police academy. I think a lot of people have a misconception about teaching. I know the first thing I always do when I go into a classroom is bang, I throw the book down to get their attention, but I say that's the framework. You have to be able to connect with your students, and you have to be able to get it across. Knowing a certain area of expertise, and not being able to translate that knowledge into understanding for your students, null effect. So I think that, without a doubt, Frank, you do a good job. I attended the year before. Last year you forgot me. That's all right.
I didn't mean to. You got busy. I didn't mean to.
So any last comments by Emery? We'll start with you.
No, just come out, and I thank you for the opportunity to put this out.
My pleasure. Yeah. El Director.
It could be you. It could be one of your viewers that's, could be on the street helping the community. That's all I'll say.
And the age? 18 and above, correct?
Yes,
correct.
18
and above.
Yeah.
And right now, it's the location looks like Ferris, but it'll be TBA, to be announced. Okay. And Frankie, since it's your baby, give us some final comments.
First, Mr. Romano, thank you. Thank you for having us. I'm so glad that you haven't forgotten us little people. No. I do appreciate
one of the little people.
I do
I'm one of the little
that.
people.
But listen,
you're my brother in arms, and can never forget that.
And
for the service that you've given, for those in the audience that don't know, Detective Molina was involved in the unfortunate fatal shooting incident that had Officer Mark Donato succumb to his wounds. So again, Frankie, this is a lot of people don't understand. It's a noble thing that you do, and I'm only honored to be part of it. All three of you are outstanding, and you have our full support, the county support. We're going to I'd like to have a flyer in every freeholder's box. Tomorrow night's a meeting, so let's get the flyers up to Marie, 567 Pavonia, first floor, so I'll make a little statement about it if one of you want to come up and speak also. That would be good. It's a 6 o'clock meeting, just so all the freeholders can pass it out. I think that's important. There's 5 freeholders representing Jersey City. So, I just represent the Heights, a sliver of downtown. You have Jerry Walker, Joel Torres, Kenny Kopaz, the Bayonne end. I'm your freeholder, Anthony Romano. For those of you, please get the message out. This is a wonderful opportunity for our youth to become part of a great profession and to be part of the community. To you three, thank you so much. I'm your freeholder again. Thank you, and see you soon.